It was October in the hill towns, and the forests were alive. Woodpiles needed stacking, gardens their final harvests, and every day revealed new change.
This whole ride so far, the foliage has been way more than I expected, and definitely more than when we were riding on it a couple of days ago.
Wait, didn't want to stay for stew?
Hey, try this.
They're doing firewood now? It all started happening at the end of September. The local high school football team was on the TV at the pub, and we watched families flood in with jackets, beanies, and gloves after the game, a sure sign of autumn. And on Sunday mornings, my good friend Mitch and I would get a half dozen eggs each and bottomless coffee at the local diner and drive our favorite back roads like we used to before life got so busy.
The color of that. And this episode's sponsored by Masana Electric.
He started an electric company, and I was proud of him for finally taking the plunge. And one of the things he said to me was how now he understands the stress and the 24/7 commitment that comes with owning your own business, and why I wasn't able to hang out with people as much these last few years. I told him how the freedom to create your own schedule is a double-edged sword and takes unlimited passion and discipline. Because while you often have flexibility in your days, any lost time needs to be made up somewhere, and there will be stretches where you have no choice but to hunker down and work. It's nice having friends who can relate to it, where you can actually talk about what it's really like and exchange advice. And being that we're in totally different industries, there's a lot of unique tips and strategies that we can each learn from each other. When I first quit my job and started building my own business doing photo and video work, he helped me turn the attic of my parents' garage into a creative studio. It was the fall of 2016, and every morning we'd drive around at sunrise capturing the colors.
I was gonna make a song about that.
So these recent mornings felt spiritual in a way. And while Allie turned the peaches from the cabin into cobbler, I went to the clean slate to tidy up the autumn shag, which feels like a natural instinct to let grow out every year. And day by day, more and more trees turned. And after long days behind the computer, Allie and I would anxiously take off in Old Blue in search of foliage updates.
Wow, look at the sky. What?
Yeah. It's cotton candy.
And these simple and unassuming quiet evenings, with no one around and nowhere else to be, are what I live for. And as the days flew by, and as we finally dove into October, the colors began to explode, and certain nooks and crannies started putting on a show.
This looks... Dude, this is like all time.
Go down that road?
No, I mean, it was the scene.
Wait, that is the road where I found insane off-roading trails.
Did we still go on the grand opening?
Is that what this is?
Like, we didn't even know.
They're not here. Welcome to listen.
And these Sundays with Mitch were when we both caught our breath. Since he was in the startup phase of his business, he was working nonstop and feeling the pressure. And with fall being my busiest season, I was in zombie mode, working every day for long hours behind the computer to create these stories. So after we'd get breakfast some Sundays, we'd drive around extra long and stop here and there, even though we both had work waiting back home. But that decision to let loose and give in to spontaneity is what always seems to keep me sane. And we talked about how these sporadic Sunday mornings were keeping our souls charged. And when we happened to pass by and stop at the reopening of a local Hilltown joint on a Sunday afternoon, we talked to a guy who worked as a machinist his whole life, and now he has his own farm. And as we talked, he said, "You guys are still young. Long as you stay working hard, you'll get everything you want. It might take a while, but it will happen." And that's been replaying in my head ever since, as what keeps me working hard every day is the dream of having my own fields of gold. And while there was some great color, The hills weren't peaked just yet, but with the consistently cold nights on the horizon, it wouldn't be long till the reds, oranges, and yellows would stretch as far as the eye could see. And one day at the little red house, I noticed something I had never seen in my whole life growing up there. A beaver dam right across the main stretch of the river. Usually it's flowing just strong enough that beavers wouldn't even consider this a viable option. But due to the drought, more and more beaver dams have been popping up in unusual places this year. I'm curious to see how long it lasts before it gets washed away. And so as October went along, I made my way over to my parents to stack wood as often as I could, as a few hours here or there will go a long way when done consistently over a stretch of weeks. And when John asked if I wanted to come over for fall stew one evening, I prepared some whole wheat sourdough bread for the occasion and stopped on the way to stack more wood.
Dear Colleen, forevermore, my soul in the treasure chest by the boulder there on the mountaintop where we stood as kids, dreaming about who we would be. Old motorcycles, wide open roads and the sea. Mama said your beard grows quicker now. Well, your arms and your chest got thicker now. How about you stack the wood? From here on out, I'm tired. Hey, Colleen, all you taught me, I'll keep in my pocket. So wherever I go, I'll remember the birds, the stars, and the mushrooms. They're calling, you can feel it, you can see it in the eyes of the realist. There's a sparkle like the sunlight on the riffle, where the mayflies and caddis flies dance. The wild trout go and the ferns grow just beyond the sand. Mama said your beard grows quicker now. Well, your arms and your chest got thicker now. How about you stack the wood? From here on out, I'm tired. Dear Colleen, you can smell it. They're haying the fields above town, and the gasoline from this old truck still hits me with the windows down. Dear Colleen, you can see the sign.
Right?
Didn't want to stay for stew?
Hey, try this.
Nice fire going. Look at the wood pile. Dude.
Can't get anything bigger than this one.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Take a bite of that.
That's nice. It's a legit apple.
And so it was John, his chicken Bertha, and I for the evening. And we played an old Jimmy Cliff album we grew up listening to while the wood stove roared, and we chopped a few veggies from my mom's garden for the big stew.
Oh, wait, dip your bread in it. That's what we're supposed to do right now. Is dip our bread in this shit until it cools down. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. It takes you, a second to get back in this life. Stew life. Now it's second, right? You want big piece?
I got 2 big pieces over here.
Where'd you get that wood?
It was a simple and beautiful night, and it felt good to catch up. And since John started his own business building patios and driveways and other dreamscapes this past summer, we also talked a lot about owning your own business too. And it was interesting to hear all the different perspectives from my close friends. And I went back to a spot that Mitch and I had scouted out in late September to see the progress on the foliage. And it was one of those drizzly autumn days that makes the forest come alive. And while the ground was littered with colorful leaves, the lower canopy was still green. And that lower canopy is what makes November such an interesting month. But for now, in early October, the hunt for peak color continued. And there were indeed stretches where the leaves were so bright and saturated that they looked almost cartoonish. And so the hunt for Red October was officially on. And while the high hills were just getting started near us, I knew of a couple other places that would be burning strong with the fire of fall. And so trips to unique hideouts were booked, and that old blue chariot was at the ready to carry us through the flames.